Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, Holzfforma G372 XP in for an unscheduled maintenance trip. Let's see if we can get it figured out. Welcome to Man Time. Yeah, hair and makeup guy didn't show up for work today. Son of a gun. Well, if you missed that last video, I wanted to put this thing through the paces. I ran about 2 tanks of fuel through it, and it was fighting me the whole time until the very end where it finally started cutting decent. Like I hit the lottery on the carb settings and it ran for a couple cuts like consistently where it wasn't going too rich and too lean. But the rest of the time, it was basically too rich or too lean, and there wasn't any in between, right? There was no way to tune the thing where it would run right. And like I said in that last video, either Holzfforma is a completely incompetent company where they can't make a carb right over the course of 10 years, or there's some trash in the carb. And I'm hoping it's number 2, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take this thing apart, get into the carb, pull it off of there, take it apart, see if something wasn't misinstalled, or if there's some trash in there, or something. So let's get on the bench and start tearing this thing apart. We're also going to do a visual inspection, you know, after 3 tanks of fuel. Alright, well, my high-speed tools are up at the barn door where I'm doing some construction work. But we are going to attack this thing using just some basic tools here. So I've got my Harbor Freight T-handle set here, super cheap, and then a couple of different weapons as far as flatheads and the Phillips. But let's start by getting this top cover off. And just looking down real quick, a very good job of filtration. Very good filtration job. There's no particulate or any sort of sawdust or anything down inside this air filter horn. Very clean inside of there. So, if we can get this carb running right, this should be a good reliable saw. Also, while I was running it, I noticed it was oiling very well, and it does, you know, seem to have and produce good power and torque, where those last couple cuts in that last video, it was cutting very well, and it was pretty much bar buried 24 inches in hard red oak. You know, really no complaints. So, yeah, everything still appears to be in good working order. Let's get these 2 bolts off of here and get this choke popped off of there. Another tool that I like to have during these sort of assembly disassemblies is going to be a needle nose, and you'll probably want a gulf tee to stick down into that fuel line. That is always helpful to keep that gas from coming out of there. So we'll pull these out, pull this out. The wind today is just ripping. I like to think of it as like winter is fighting summer this time of year, you know? You've got summer wanting to come in and these warm Gulf temperatures, and it's being fought, you know, by the winter up north. Alright, so right here we're ready to get this fuel line off. I'm just going to crack the fuel cap and see if we can't get this to pry off of here. There we go. Alright, very little gas sprayed. We've also got our impulse line. Impulse line's a little wet. Yeah, impulse line's a little wet. I wonder if that means anything. No way to tell right now. But at this point, we're pretty much there. What you can do there is set your choke, and this thing should just pull out. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of dirt down in there, but yeah, that's beyond the cover. So at this point, we can take a look down in here, and very clean. Very, very clean inside of there. So all indications point to this is going to be a long, good running saw, or a, saw that runs good for a long time. I guess is the right way to put that. Okay, let's remove this, get this set up, get some tools to take this apart, start digging in. I'm really testing the Rode microphone windscreen today. But yeah, these are my favorite type of videos to make. Videos where, some other man out there probably is going through something similar with their brand new clone saw, wondering, did I get a dud or what? Now, right off the bat, I saw, there is a little sliver of metal inside this carb. And there is a little bit of particulate on the screen. So, I'm going to blow that out with some brake clean. Got it right here. And just blew in there, all that stuff kind of blows out. But now, what we actually want to do while we're here, let's see. I want to blow through the high and low here, but it's really nice when you can actually blow like into the high jet. So the high jet is going to be right there. And I may be able to get there. See, there's the low right there. And then see, okay, so that blew through. See if we can get to this high. Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult. But I'm trying to get the nozzle up there onto the high jet where I can blow back through. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this back together, because other than that screen, I don't see anything detrimental. Yeah, this all looks fine. Just kind of blow through a couple of these orifices here. Everything is free and clear. Let's get this back on here. Alright, so one thing I want to do before I go to adjusting these jets is check where they're at. So on the low side, let's see where we were. There's a half, there's 1, 1.5, 2. So we ended up at 2 turns out being happy. So we'll remember that when we go back together with it. But I want to turn this all the way out and remove it and see if we don't have some trash in there. Alright, no O-rings on that one, just a lot of threads. That's good. And now we want to check our low jet, which is right there. So we'll come in here and blow and see if anything comes out of that. Yeah. Okay, low jet is clear. So we'll turn it all the way back in and then out 2 turns to get it back to where it was happy. Real gentle coming up on it. 1, 2. Okay. The high jet, less than 1. It ended up less than 1, where it was like flooding. I mean, it was. Yeah. See, that's the problem. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't have been rich at 1 turn. Doesn't look like the jet is damaged. Now this one here, we're going to be watching that inside of there. See if I can open this up to where you can see. Safety glass is a must here. Okay, it's blowing through that high jet. So, it wasn't blowing out real well, though. It'd be really nice if I could blow back through there. You know what? We'll leave this one loose, and we'll try blowing through here, because it should want more than one turnout on the high jet. All right, let me get this off, and we'll take a look in here. Okay, we got the 4 screws removed there. This is going to be our diaphragm. Be real careful trying to get this one off. Okay, it's installed correctly. Everything looks good there. Our height of our lever, right dead on. Its ability to pick up and set down on our needle, also good. Screw in here is tight. So nothing was, assembled incorrectly. I did see a little tiny shard of metal in the screen, but as far as it goes, this is doing everything it's supposed to do. Now let's see if we can find which one of these holes is our high jet. And you can kind of figure it out by looking at your high jet and seeing kind of where it comes through. It looks like that is our high plug right there, because it's going through something, through our high. So I'm going to think it's this one here. And we'll watch inside of here for it to spray out. You see anything? Okay, it's coming out of our high inside of there. There was also a little bit of blowback from there. Interesting. So when I sprayed down this orifice, some sprayed back up out of here, and some came out of the high jet. I don't know. Low. Yeah, low is spraying out of there. So there's our high, but this is also kind of doing something for the high side. And then there's our low side. And our needle is fine. Yeah, closing all the way. Well, I guess I will just reassemble. I don't see anything that I can do here that's going to resolve or change anything. So at this point, I don't see any obvious red flags going on here. So we're going to just go back to reassembly here. It's a little disappointing. That fuel line feels a little stiff, and I am going to investigate the fuel filter. That's the only thing we haven't checked yet. It may or may not be the issue, but we are going to check and make sure it is not. Okay, so let's see here. We got this thing, we got throttle cable, we got impulse, and we got fuel line. Good to go there. 2 screws all the way through. Tighten these up. Put our choke back in, and we should be pretty well good to go here. Having done everything that we can do to try to make this a good running saw. Alright, last check we're going to do is just to double check that the fuel filter didn't get clogged. Now, I had my doubts this was ran, pre-ran at the factory. So, I just don't know. Now here, you're going to want to clean off the end of that. Yeah, seems fine. Yeah, seems fine. So, that's not our problem. So, everything taken apart, everything put back together, everything checked as far as fuel delivery to the carb and then through the carb seems to be fine. Let's fire it up one more time and see how it's acting, and then see how it acts after it's warmed up for a minute, because that was kind of what it seemed like. It was only doing it once it was really warm. So I'm going to start it up and let it idle for a while, and then we'll see what it's doing. Yeah, it's really too bad. I was really hoping I would find something, but it looks like option one. They just don't know how to build a good carb after 10 years. Now I set it back to 2 turns out on low, 1 turn out on high. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so at this point I have got it very warm, and it's running perfect. It's holding its tune. I've got idle right down there at about 32, 3300, and high RPM right there at 1300. But let's see where the jets are at to get to that point. I was using my Proline Tech, got a video on that if you want to check that out. But let's see here. So high jet is half. High jet is 7/8, not even a full turnout. And if I go a full turnout, it was blubbering. So I did have to turn it in a little bit. But yeah, we're 7/8 of a turn out. Yeah, not even a full turn out on high. On low, half, 1, 1.5, 2, right at 2 turns. So, something is not right. It should not be fat under a full turnout on the high jet. Is it something? Is there something limited that's stopping it maybe? Alright, man, after a quick Google and YouTube search there, I didn't find any information on the HLIC Carb, HLIC Carb issues, HLIC Carb fixed high jet, nothing like that. So my only conclusion, I guess, would be that there is some sort of fixed high jet in there, since there's 2 holes going down to the high jet, right? I blew brake clean through 2 different holes on the top there. Both of them sprayed through the high jet. That would lead me to believe that one of them goes directly to that high jet, and one of them goes down and through your actual adjustment screw. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with, because the ability to adjust through that tuning screw, you know, basically that's just a screw that and they call it, I guess they call it a jet, maybe not. Anyways, it's a block off, right, to that. It's supposed to be a block off to that passage where the gas flows from the carb past that screw and then out and then into your engine, right? But there's 2 holes, so how could I test that? I guess I could test that by taking the carb off again, turning the high adjustment needle all the way in, and blowing through both of those holes to see if let's do that. Man, this seems like an easy sell, but it isn't. I was ready to end the video and say, there's nothing online, there's nothing I can find, there's nobody even appearing to post that they're having issues with this carburetor based on my YouTube and Google search. But the problem with YouTube is they don't select videos for you to watch based on the title anymore, or the description, or anything, apparently. That's why my videos are almost impossible to find. I've gone on like other people's computers and typed in the exact name of my video, and it won't come up. Like 3 pages scrolling, and it still hasn't appeared yet. So the ability to find a video based on the title is really hard. I mean, you really have to be looking to try to find my videos, and it's sad. Like in this case, if somebody has a really good video on HLIC carbs and their ability to fix it and the issues that they're having, that's the video that should pull up based on the title, right? I want to find HLIC carb issues and fix in the title, you know. So anyways, sorry about the rant there, but it's frustrating when you put out a really good video and you can't even find it. It's not even being displayed to people because of YouTube, you know. Popular YouTubers, I'm going to get sprayed right in the face, but I have safety glasses on, so if I get sprayed in the face, it's just a little hose down to get the gas off of my face, and we'll be back in business. No problems. Okay. Not bad. Okay, so now what I'm going to attempt to do, take this back off, turn the high all the way in, blow through those two. It's not that bad. Alright, so we've got our carb back apart here. Now, the 2 passages in question are this one and this one. Both of them are apparently feeding the high jet, because when this was out, both of these were feeding gas through that high jet. So I've got the high adjustment screw all the way in. It is locked off. So, we're going to see. Let's make sure you can have a good view here. Now, safety glasses are very important for this, because one or both of these is going to just not spray anything through. So it's basically going to be like spray and brake clean down a hole that goes nowhere. Oh, you guys see anything? I'm going to have to review this footage. Okay, so both of those felt like nothing made it through there. Let me check the footage. Alright, so upon further inspection and reviewing the footage, it's dry in here. I didn't see anything coming out. And then I tried it again, you know, to see if I could see anything. It's pretty tough to hold that on there, but nothing is coming out of there. So it appears that both of these feed through this high jet now, or this high adjustment. So let's come out 1 full turn, and now we should see fluid spraying right in my face. I mean, directly in my face. But safety glasses. See? The things we do for YouTube. Alright, it is spraying out of this high jet, but every time I've seen fluid coming out of this high jet, it looks like it's not atomizing correctly. It does look like it's feeding like toward the cylinder. Yeah, it does look like it's feeding toward the cylinder. I wish I could get up in here and spray through the jet from the inside. That is really the missing part of this whole equation. Alright, I didn't preset this high jet, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it all the way in till it's closed off. What we learned is that the high jet is not limited, right? And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn it just past 1 full turn out and let you listen to how grossly rich this saw is at just over 1 full turn out. Alright, so there we have it. HLIC is not a good carb. And it's not real difficult to make a bad carb. Just ask Zama. I've been a pretty big critic on Zama carbs, just because it's so. It seems like when you get a Walbro carb, they just work, right? You don't have to mess with them; they just run. And Zama carbs, I've had time after time where Zama carbs have been bad. HLIC, following right in Zama's footsteps there. So, there you go. HLIC carb, not running right, untunable. You got to get below 1 turn before it'll lean out, and then you're fluttering between 3/4 and 7/8, where it's actually tuned to be just a little bit rich and gargly, and way too lean where it's gonna like run away and blow up. But that runaway and blow up can range from like 7/8 to like 1 1/4. All of a sudden, like it goes super lean, and you're chasing the tune all day. I think the only solution for this is gonna be to find a Walbro carb. Walbro HD12B, I think, is what you want. So there you go. The purchase price of $100 and whatever dollars that you paid, up to $250. Plan on paying another $100 for a good Walbro carb for it. Anyways, that's going to do it for today on Man Time, guys. You learned something. You found something interesting. I helped you fix your carb problems. Even though there wasn't a carb problem, it was the carb's fault. Make sure to hit those buttons down below. Get out there. Have you some Man Time, too. Cheers.